On this episode of The View from Jamestown, it is mid-September. We had the China tariff exclusions reinstated for the end of the month. We're watching a couple hurricanes developing in the Atlantic, starting to see some price increases for October, and we're gearing up for our EPCA trip in Vienna at the end of the month. Stay tuned for all this and more on this episode. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the View from Jamestown podcast edition. This is episode 96. This is the September 2023 edition. And once again, we are sitting down with the full team this morning, going in opposite order. We have Latin American Operations Manager Javier Fernandez.
Good morning, Benny.
VP of Sales and Marketing AJ Petrarca. Inside Sales Manager Nicole Greenberg. And last but not least, TCC President Robb Roach.
Good morning, Ben.
Hello,
Morning.
Benny.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You had some surprise in your face. I'm going in reverse order there.
It's good because we had the best for last.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. You can tell bonus season is soon, you know.
Javi, did you see that the soccer thing when the guy gave the Uno card, the Uno reverse card?
No.
You didn't see that?
No.
There was a soccer game and I don't know what it was. It wasn't like a big league, but it was some small league, and the guy gave him a yellow card, and he literally like pulled out his spandex and he pulled out an Uno reverse card and he showed it to the ref. I thought it was fake, and I saw the video. He actually did it in the middle of a game. The ref's like, what do we do with that?
How did I miss that?
I don't know. I'll send it to you. It's funny.
Thank you.
You must have been working.
Yeah, how much did you
Must
work?
have been. Too many emails, not enough Instagram.
I think so. I think that's the case.
How you guys doing? We all good?
Good.
Good.
Good. This must be the most dressed up we've all cumulatively been for a podcast. We got button downs, we got vests, we got TCC logos.
Yes, I make sure I have my TCC gear on.
Proud. Thank you.
Love
you.
it.
I didn't dress up for this. We got other things to do today.
I will say, I think we all match quite nicely too for not coordinating.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I mean, yeah.
I like it.
I'll take your word for it.
AJ being colorblind, he's like, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we always look nice. What do you mean?
Yeah, I wear gray.
You got a
every day.
nice
It's-
red shirt on today, AJ. It's crazy. Bright red.
Well, my kids told me it was purple this morning, so
I can see purple. It's kind of.
Yeah, it's got purple
I'm kidding.
undertones.
I'm
you know.
kidding. It doesn't look like a picnic table.
It is mid-September. We are past Labor Day holiday. I guess summer seems like it's over. If you ask people on Instagram, seems like, oh, Labor Day's over, the summer's over, but we got a good, I think, month of good weather. We always talk in Jamestown. This is the best time to be down
best
here.
time, yeah.
Kids are back in school, which is why Nicole's very happy over here.
Tourists are gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's
Tourists
a
are
lot
gone.
of things in alignment that I think make us all very happy.
Yeah, no more New York plates, no more Jersey plates for
Yep.
the most part.
So long.
Moving into some news stuff. I know one of the more timely news topics that we had recently was obviously the tariff exemptions being extended, which was, I think, welcome to news for us and a lot of folks. They didn't wait till the day before. We at least got good 30, 40 days heads up. So
yeah, maybe
about a
close
month.
to a month. Yeah, which is not typical for our government. But
Yeah.
they
A lot
came
of
through
heads
this
up.
time
that was extended, just for the end of this year, right?
through the end of this calendar year. Yep, through December. Those are the extension. The exemptions are in place. I always get
Is
that
it the
mixed up.
same list, or do they make additions, or is it just the same list extended?
I believe the list has been pretty static. It's the,
Okay.
It's the is it 301C?
The
Is the-
301.
I think that list kind of has been in place.
Okay.
I haven't seen any additions or
Okay,
subtractions to that
just
list.
curious about it.
Yeah. So it's looking at this article, it's 352 product exclusions plus another 77 COVID related exclusions, which are on this 301 list. So whatever 352 plus 77 is, if we're going to get specific. But yeah, obviously good news, helps with some planning for, bringing material in through the end of the year. So I know it was welcomed. Obviously Dicey is probably the biggest one that's impacted for us on that list. So
Yep.
all good news there. Mid-September, we're obviously starting to closely track hurricane season. We're actually looking at one, I guess, for us up in the Northeast, which is a bit of a outlier. I guess hitting maybe the end of this week should be
Friday,
should be
Saturday
interesting.
looks like it's going to be pretty gusty here. Luckily, it's not going to hit. It's not going to make landfall, at least in the Northeast here.
Yep.
It's Hurricane Lee, and then there's more behind it. But Hurricane Lee is pretty intense and getting more intense, and it's going to brush off the Cape. We're expected like 40, 50 mile an hour winds here in Rhode Island, which shouldn't be too bad. We get storms like that in October, November, December that are that bad, that aren't hurricanes. So
Yep.
nor'easters, but nevertheless, you got to jockey the boat into a spot where it's not going to get destroyed. Other than that, we're batten down the hatches for the weekend. Get the umbrellas off the table on the back patio, so we don't have to replace another umbrella.
Yep. That was a sad looking umbrella last year.
Yeah, broken in half after the first storm. So, but yeah, we've been lucky so far. I mean, there was obviously the hurricane that came right up into, sort of the panhandle area of Florida, and didn't cause too much problems with the petrochemical industry. Obviously, there was some flooding, and it was a pretty devastating for that particular, like corner there was pretty beat up. But been lucky so far, but really it's just the beginning.
Yeah. You going surfing Friday?
I got work to do.
Overhead or more, it's gonna be something.
Yeah, all my surfing friends are hitting me up, and they don't really realize that I'm retired. I
didn't know you were retired.
No, my kid. The last hurricane swell, I went out with the kids, and we had a lot of fun. So I'm trying to encourage my kids to go surfing. I've got a 16-year-old and a 10-year-old that love it. So we go together and we have a good time. So I still surf, just not intensely.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like the way the swell's coming, even like you might get up in like Mackerel Cove, you might get some little waves and stuff.
That's where I've been bringing Finn, my 10-year-old. It's kind of a dribbler of a wave, but he gets long rides, and you get that soft board, and just encourage him to have fun with it. It's not a competition, and it's something like tennis and golf.
Yeah,
you can do the rest of your life. So just encourage him to. He took surf lessons all summer, and he had a great time with it. So
there you go. You put those skills to use here.
That's right. He's better than me already at 10 years old.
That's more my speed. Little dribblers, long ways.
Yeah. Come on down, Ben. Bring Abby and the dogs. It'll be a whole day. And that's the other thing is the beaches are shut down. You can bring the dogs.
That's true.
And, it's just
true.
What a great time of year.
All right, we're doing it.
All right.
Looking at the stock market a little bit from past month or so, it seems like it's been mixed. Nothing really exciting there. I know some of the inflation reports came out this morning and was a little bit higher than maybe some people expected, but seems like it's been kind of quiet on that front for the most part.
Yeah, the big cap stuff's kind of a little risky right now. Small caps where it's at for investments. Treasury bills right now they're saying they could go up as high as 6%, which is higher than inflation right now. So that's a good bet for your investments. And finally, international markets. I mean, you look at China, you look at Europe, they're really, really down. That's when you buy. So invest in small cap T-bills and foreign markets, and you might do well in the next year.
Yep. Javier, you've been working, not only doing emails and phone calls, but
I've been out
in the world,
out of the country.
Yeah. How were your recent travels? Fill us in.
It was good. It was a lot of mixed signals. Some people have high inventory. Some people are looking to still to the stock. Some of them are heavy on the sales. So it's just a bunch of mixed signals. I also meet with suppliers as well. Some of them are sold down till the end of the year or having high peaks on productions due to demand. And others are just looking for orders. So it's just a mix of everything. What I have to concur is that R&D is up. A lot of people looking for new products, develop new products, customers looking for other alternatives and more environmentally friendly stuff. But yeah, overall it was good. It was a good travel. I hit 5 airports in 5 days.
Wow.
It was intense.
It's impressive.
Impressive. I feel like a crew guy.
Yeah.
But it was good. Yeah, but it was good. It was
you got your wings.
But it was good. A lot of mixed signals, but everyone's looking at the U.S. as the savior. Still is. I mean, the U.S. is the mecca.
Yeah.
For everything. Everyone's looking at the U.S. So it's good for us.
Are people the people you've met in the various places where do you find that people are coming and calling on them, or are people not really traveling much? Like, were they happy to see you?
They were happy to see me as usual.
Of course.
But people say they're not calling much. They're doing a lot of Zooms, so people are not getting out there as much as they used to. I think people got complacent and just don't do the thing. But it's important to be there. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and we're like, right now the opportunities might not be there, but we have to seed the market. So it's about seeding the market right now, just sending samples, quoting, just doing the whole thing because this is going to pop up eventually.
You said seeding the market?
Seeding the market.
That's a good.
That's how we end up in. We were discussing. I said like, it's about seeding the market. Like I like that.
AJ's gonna adopt that. I can already see AJ's wheels turning. We're gonna be in a meeting in 2 weeks, and AJ's gonna drop that one in there. I can already see it.
I smell a marketing campaign.
Yeah, it's about seeding the market. That's gonna end up my report.
That's the title of the podcast episode.
I was just gonna say that.
Yes.
Yeah, and you make a good point with the inventory thing. I know that's been a thing we've been talking about with I think a couple different customers. Is there's seems like an internal battle between trying to get prices to come down, but also companies that are judging folks based on inventory levels, whether it's monthly or quarterly. Or I think it's gonna be an interesting end of December because obviously a lot of companies kind of base their end of year inventories at that point, and there's kind of internal battle. Like people know that if you buy more, you get a better price, but they don't want to buy more because they don't want to have the inventories high. So it's which one's more important to different companies.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are saying that's going to be an interesting thing at the end of the year.
Yeah, I agree.
The battle between planning and purchasing.
Yeah, very much so. Like the two should work hand in hand, but in a lot of cases they're not. It's kind of interesting.
There's a divergence right now for sure.
Yeah.
They don't want to have stuff on the floor. They don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
because they got measured on those metrics.
Exactly.
They get measured. I mean, the purchasing guys and the planning guys, they'll have different metrics. So it's
right
at this point they're not hand in hand. Yeah.
But they got to kind of get back together because with with the yellow freight thing right now, like people are moving LTL in full truckloads. So it's like if you're saying a truckload buyer and all of a sudden you say, oh, I only want like 4 pallets, 5 pallets because we just need to get by. Well, you might be paying a lot more for those, LTL shipments based on the yellow freight, bankruptcy and cost of freight and all that sort of stuff. So. And now fuel prices. So they got to get together on that. I mean, you got to plan better and you got to purchase better. So
yeah, it's a tough balance. Obviously, when you look at it from a 30,000 foot view, like they should work together. But when you're judging guys on what you did in the last 30 days, it's obviously you need to see how people are doing and performing at their jobs. But it's a tough metric to
well,
work
there's
off
also
of.
cash flows involved. A lot of companies are working off of maybe funding from banks and things like that. And, we've talked about this in the past. I mean, those percentage rates right now are very high. So the more you buy, the longer you're holding and time value of money, it adds up as well.
Tough.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one right now.
Well, one thing that obviously helps companies with planning and business and whatnot is, taking advantage of technology and systems. I know something that we talk a lot about with our, what the future is going to hold and using our tools to the best of our ability, and even things like this, like doing our podcast and leveraging those tools, has obviously been a big thing. We had a good meeting last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Weird that it was that long ago. Had a good meeting with the folks at Datacor, who obviously we worked with for a long time, even prior to your time, right? I mean, long
before
time.
I've even joined.
What, like 31 years or something like that?
I can remember the implementation. I was 16 years old, so it's been 33 years. So I'm 49 now. So 33 years. We partnered with Datacor, and it was a massive expense for us at that time, and something that we invested in to make sure that we were going to be prepared in the future on an ERP CRM level to grow our revenues and be robust. And they've kept up with the times. They've done a great job. And we're happy to partner with them and really drive it into the future and help develop tools that can help us. And it's been good and working with them and having such a young team too that utilizes these tools and then say, hey, here's what we can do better. I think that's going to be, as we've talked about a lot, that's the future for us. So we're a people company, but we've got to have systems in place to drive our business forward if we're going to grow.
I think the chemical industry is so interesting with it too. Like you get everywhere from companies that we still see that don't have a website or haven't updated a website in 30 years, all the way to companies that spend, $10 million on their customer portal and everywhere in between. So it's been kind of interesting. I think a lot of industries are everyone moving in the same direction, more technology, less technology. There's definitely a divergence in the chemical industry, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, before you spend tens of millions of dollars to create tools that customers aren't going to use, you might want to think about it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you want to stay ahead, but you also want to like serve up what is going to make our relationship between customer, supplier, us smoother and easily used with other systems, because we're in a distribution software environment. That doesn't mean our customers are. So having that information exchange is very, very important. So
well, I thought Datacor made a good analogy when we were meeting too. They kind of compared, the CRM and the system to a hammer. Like, you can give anybody a hammer, it doesn't mean you can build a house.
Right.
Which is a lot of the same things. You can get everyone to sign up for the system, doesn't mean it's not going to replace people. It doesn't mean you have the people that can use it, pull the data out and go take that and go call on people and whatnot. It was kind of a cool comparison. It's true. Like, there's so much technology out there. It doesn't mean you can use it to the best of your ability. It's just a tool. It's another tool.
It's been interesting in my career to see that trends come and companies will go all in on it. Yeah. And then they have to backpedal, and we're careful about that stuff. I think we've learned from watching that happen so many different times. And so we're a little bit more reserved about it, but we're 100% invested in systems and improving our systems and working with our partners. So,
yeah. Well, on that note, we while we had Datacor here at the offices, we recorded a little podcast segment with them. So we'll put that little clip in here. Morning, Sean. Morning, Alex. How you guys doing?
Good morning. Good.
Doing great.
This is your podcast debut for both of you guys?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having us out.
Absolutely. Good to have you guys here. So for those who don't know, Sean, Alex from Datacor, a good long-term partner of TCC and important on our side with marketing and sales and all that fun stuff. I guess to kick things off, since you're a brand new guest to the podcast, why don't you guys introduce each of yourselves, and then whoever wants to give the Datacor 101, I'll give you the floor. But maybe Sean, we'll start with you as the veteran here.
That's great. My name is Sean Duran, Datacor's Senior Customer Success Manager. Datacor is an ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, and a CRM, Customer Relationship Management software provider. B2B solutions, primarily focused within the highly regulated chemical distribution and process manufacturing space. I've been around for a little over 40 years, so it's not our first rodeo, and excited to be here supporting this podcast and get an opportunity to share some of the new stuff that we've been working on and making sure that you get recognition for being such leaders and working with us so closely over the years. Really appreciate this.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Appreciate having you guys here. And I guess the relative newcomer here to the group.
Yeah. So my name's Alex Cochran. I'm the product manager for the CRM at Datacor. So my job is to, keep pushing our CRM platform forward, make sure that we're solving the problems for customers like you guys, make sure that we're, continuing to add enhancements and solve those problems that you guys have.
Perfect. And I know you kind of said a little bit, but what's the e-pitch on Datacor? What are the historical services you guys have offered, and what you guys have done in the last couple of years? That's been exciting.
A lot of I threw out a bunch of acronyms there, but
we love acronyms. Chemical industry loves acronyms.
Yeah, especially in the regulation side. But so, I guess a big differentiator is that we started collaboratively within the chemical distribution space, solving problems back when computers didn't really have mice. And we've maintained that relevance and the focus. And a big part of that is that we work really closely with our customers to understand what are the driving factors of running a chemical company. That's important. So you got to put in a sales order. We know that you may sell the same product to 15 different customers with 15 different prices, 3 different units of measure, packaging, but you need to know how profitable you are on it. So there's a lot of nuances that are involved within the chemical industry, and we are a niche software solution that provides a perfect fit for customers that have to accommodate those requirements.
Yeah, and obviously you guys have been quite busy the last 5 years, I guess, between adding folks, between adding companies and brands to your guys' umbrella. It's quite the group.
Yeah, that's right. So like I said, originated in 1981, but as far as the leadership goes, we recently had Sean O'Donnell, who was one of the first salespeople and became president, had passed the baton to new leadership. He's still steering the ship in many ways, but getting a little bit more time on the greens, which is well deserved. But in that process of passing the baton to the younger generation, there's the big opportunity to expand Datacor's presence, not just within the chemical distribution space, but larger within the regulated food and beverage and process manufacturing. So doing a lot of work building out our companies strategically from a management perspective and bringing in best class employees to make sure that as we grow smartly, strategically, and we're building the products that our customers need.
Yep. And I guess jumping to you, Alex, obviously there's the kind of newcomer jumping in and seeing what Datacor's had going on and is working on. From your point of view, what's getting you excited about the industry and the company and some of the hot things you've been working on the last, I guess, year or two?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been with the company for about a year. I've had a long history in product management, thinking about solutions in different industries and kind of different roles. I'm really excited about Datacor because of that integration between the CRM and the ERP and a lot of these other companies that we're taking a look at that we've been piecing together over the past few years. Building that kind of overall suite of things that we can do for our customers and providing that connectivity across their organization. So, I'm excited to push those things forward and really have that kind of value that you can't get without, spending a ton of money trying to, do it yourself.
Yeah. 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 I think that's one of the probably more refreshing things too, is it's, I think me being involved in the marketing side and systems and tools and all that stuff, it's so easy for companies to say, oh, we have this great XYZ feature and this does this. And, oh, this video platform does this. And it's like, it's all cool. It's all a very cool thing. But like, how does it tie back to business and sales and profit? Like you had just mentioned, it's always nice hearing companies, especially like yourselves, that are like, we can do this XYZ. We bought this company to do this. And it's all going to tie back to showing you dollars and cents and make more money and be more profitable and all that stuff. So it's always nice hearing, especially technology companies and things like that are all tying it back to, at the end of the day, we want the business to do better. Yeah. That's the end goal here.
Yeah. I mean, we're doing our strategy and growing the business sort of by expanding our market opportunities, by going into different areas. But our bread and butter has always been the chemical distribution space. And I think we've prided ourselves on always having a very collaborative approach in our product. Our product wouldn't be what it is today without meeting with our customers, making sure what their problems are and solving those with software. Right. It's not rocket science, but we do it pretty dang well. And these meetings like this, we get better insights and, things that we're doing to be more involved are like creating, limited availability programs with our customers to actually, early on vet out, hey, does this look right? Is this going to add value? If not, scrap it. Let's start over. Sure. What's most important? So some of the initiatives that we're doing lately, in response to a lot of the sort of craze around AI and all those things are, people are seeing that, but there's also constraints within the workforce. People are concerned, cash flow constrained. They want to do more with less. So everyone's wanting to do automation, right? Yep. So we've built out a more robust automation suite that allows you to drag and drop documents in, automatically enter in transactions and whatnot, but also better integrations with big partners. So people are going back to EDI, and then of course the more common route is our API solutions. And then there's analytics, and so everyone's trying to do more with less, and we're just trying to make sure that they're aware of what we have today and that we're keeping pace with demands as they come on.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's probably an interesting time, specifically in the kind of technology space and, the software as a service piece of it. You get all these buzzwords, AI, and then there was blockchain, and there's all these different things that get thrown around, and it's all important, and it's all important to understand how it can work and how it can benefit your business and whatnot. And I think the other side of that is people expect very quick solutions. People expect technology to roll very fast. People expect the new Apple iOS every year with the new shiny features. Yeah. So there's, I'm sure, pressure on you guys to keep innovating and developing and compete with the SAPs and Oracles and Salesforces of the world and that whole thing.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just putting a little lipstick on a pig, because it looks old. Like, oh, you mean we just needed to make it a rounder and a shadow on that button, and then now it looks fresh and clean and new colors.
I can just hear the graphic designers in the background giggling at that.
We don't use Comic Sans, if that helps at all. Yeah. It's like a taboo in graphics, right? But like one of our differentiators as well, the CRM integration is a big differentiator
Yeah.
for Datacor because that nuanced aspect of selling the same chemical or same product to people in various units of measure and be able to like compare how am I selling this product across all my customers. If though I sell this person in gallons, this person by the case, stuff like that.
Yep.
Like a lot of other systems struggle with that. And
Sure.
so out of the box, we're trying to provide valuable insights to not only the people operating the business, but the salespeople that need to make decisions. So a real differentiator is the tight integration with our CRM and the data analytics that's presented to the salespeople that's relevant and consumable, and it answers questions that they need answered with one click. Right.
Yep.
So information and the access to it, like you're saying, people want it now. And so often it comes to like just educating people. It's there, but they forgot to read the screen and hit the drop down and notice that it was already there. Right.
Yep.
So we're happy that we've been having a solution that's been solving problems well for a long time. We're making it more colorful with better rounded edges to attract people better. But yeah, it's a solid company that is focused and innovating with the newest technologies out there that we can.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, with the ERP piece going from order entry to invoicing all the way to the sales side and prospecting and the marketing tools, it's a full suite of tools that's really all in one. And especially if you're in our space, it's fantastic.
Yeah, man. I'm usually one of the only software people at the trade shows that
Sure.
we go to, right?
Yeah.
And nobody else is having beers with you at the lobby bar at a I don't know, regulatory conference.
Yeah.
It's like, what kind of software people think that's where business is done? And there's a lot of business done with operations management because they're complaining about stuff that they never thought there was a solution for.
Sure.
And so, hey, didn't you know about this button? Right click here, auto, you're good.
Yeah.
So
what are some of the big, what's some of the big projects you got on the horizon? What are the things that are keeping you up at night for the next 6 to 12 months? What's the big picture things that folks are asking for and that you guys are putting priorities on that you're seeing in the industry?
Yeah. I think the answer to that is more so what's keeping you guys up at night that we need to work on to help out with, right?
That is the correct answer to the question.
Yeah.
So good job.
So one of the things that we're super excited about over the next 6 months to a year is taking another look at pricing, being able to surface pricing information and concerns in a better way. With the pandemic, prices went all over the place.
Sure.
A lot of volatility across the business. So putting together tools that make it easier to go from, this is an issue here that I need to take a look at, all the way through being able to actually, come to the right price and then put that in front of your customer in a, kind of streamlined way. And so that's something that we're working through kind of early designs now that we're excited about. Some early prototypes have gotten, some good feedback. But we're definitely looking to roll that out in the next 6 months to a year.
Yep.
And then I'd say also so I've been in the chemical space for about 12 years. And prior to that, I was in more of a B2C environment and sort of mirror both your expectations and also like how the different sort of industries work, right? Business to business has been slower probably to adopt technology. Whereas the B2C companies are faster.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's more where we see experience. We get Amazon, click to pay, and we're like, why can't this happen in the B2B world, right?
Sure.
It's coming. It's coming. And so automation and solutions like that, click to pay, all of those are available. And a big part of that is having a robust API set. And those APIs, for those that are not aware, I know it's weird. I can give you the real acronym, or I could just tell you that it's the way that two softwares talk to each other.
Oh no, I want the other. I want the other one you gave her because it's the best explanation of APIs I've ever heard.
So an API is basically the hose that connects two softwares together in the internet. And what's really important is that you make sure that the APIs have the right adapters. So they always screw in their universal adapters. So we're building those APIs with the universal adapters so that you can plug and play with whatever modern software is out there. And that really unleashes, let other people be creative and awesome.
Sure.
We're great at what we do. We're not trying to be great at everything. So best in class, bring it in, and we're happy to integrate and collaborate.
Did you give him that metaphor, or where did he?
No.
He came up with it all on his own. Yeah.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
But yeah, I use the hose one because because ultimately you're sending information back and forth, and unless those connections are solid, you get, I don't know, your hoses leaking.
Which in itself is an important realization that you guys are great at X, Y, and Z, but you don't need to do the whole alphabet. Stick to what you guys are good at, and then let the other information and marketing tools and feed out from there. So it's exciting.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But then we also have to serve like a variety of different customer sizes, right? So you have just like you likely have customers that are, they could be small family-owned businesses with maybe 5 employees, and then you have your, $2 billion companies with divisions and complexities galore and all that. So we have to service all of those, and you wouldn't be surprised, or you may be surprised that same problems, different level of like priorities and all that. So we have to make sure our software is scalable and it works for both small and the large.
Sure.
Not an easy undertaking, but or that's what's really important about having a support system and team also behind the scenes that understands the industry, because answering questions about the same program from 2 different companies, you get 2 different answers.
Yeah.
Maybe that's unnecessary detail, but our support system is a critical part of the solution as well, because we're not your generic SAP or Microsoft. We're both a single source for developing it and supporting it and implementing it.
Yep.
Those are another differentiating factor, because like our industry expertise isn't just reliant on some reseller. We have it in-house and we nurture that. And it's so important that our support people understand what our customers do,
right,
so that they can answer questions appropriately. Like, that's what you expect, right? You expect you call and be like, why isn't this working? Like, I know exactly what you're probably doing because I understand your industry.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. No, 100%. Well, it was great to kind of have a chat with you guys. Great to better understand your guys' business and what's to come and ways we can continue developing some of these tools together and whatnot.
Yeah.
You guys have any travel or trade shows coming up, or what's the best way that folks can reach out to you guys or get in touch with you?
On my OnlyFans account. No, just hit us up on Datacor. LinkedIn is usually where we post a lot of our content. You can search for my name on there. Hopefully I'm one of the better Sean Durans out there that you can find. Yeah. Well, I can share my contact information. You put up a QR code, see if somebody will actually stop the video and pick their camera up and scan a QR code.
There you go. There you go. Challenge accepted, Zach. We're going to see what we can do there.
Awesome. Yeah. Where next shows, I'll be at the NACD Northeast. I believe it's right here in Providence at the end of September.
Yep.
We'll be at the annual. NACD is a real important association for Datacor.
Sure.
But we're also at like the AFPM. We'll be at IFT. We'll be at Adhesive Sealants. So there's a variety. Check out our website. We have webinars and locations we'll be visiting regularly. Webinars are a great way to keep up to speed. I know we're not as fancy as you guys with these podcasts,
Right.
but we do try to have some focused webinars on a routine basis to educate our customers on what's new,
Sure.
what's coming up, and what's relevant.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you guys making the trip. Appreciate you guys making some time for the podcast here.
Thank you so much for having us.
It was good talking to you guys. Good. We appreciate the support and the back and forth with some of the tools we need and the things that we need to grow the business, and also the stuff you guys are working on and are promoting, obviously grow the business as well. It's been, I think, a great long-term, even before all of our times at our respective companies that I know the two have worked together. So it's been awesome, and we appreciate the support.
Yeah, man,
Right.
we couldn't do it without you. And like, you guys are really, you're a step ahead of some customers. I don't have to name names, but it's good to have customers that are seeking out innovation and are actively implementing. And that I see that in the chemical company, and our relationship only gets stronger the more we interact like this. So I'll be back for round 2 whenever you like.
Looking forward to it.
All
Looking
right.
forward to it.
Thanks,
Thank you guys, and
All right.
we'll
Thank
see you
you.
again soon.
All right. Take care.
All right, moving on, looking at kind of a higher level of things, talking about supply and demand a little bit. I know last time I think it was we talked about things like the Dow FM that is still going on, something that seems like it could last into even the early part of next year. So starting to look at, I think, what that supply and demand balance will look like coming into the end of this year and even into the early parts of next year. I know, I guess specifically that Dow FM still is causing some wrinkles in supply for a lot of different things and a lot of question marks around that one.
Yeah. Definitely that. And then there's been some outages in the Gulf, on propylene.
Yep.
So, we've seen propylene pop from the low 30s to the high 30s, even low 40s, we've heard. So there's definitely, and then of course, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself here, but
please.
oil, oil's at 88, 89. We predicted, a couple podcasts ago that this would happen. It's definitely materializing. And, things like phthalic anhydride, precursor to that, orthoxylene up big. We're seeing benzene move up pretty strong. And we're also seeing customers that are not believing that this is happening, So
yep.
It is happening. And it's having an impact on the overall stock market, which we talked about earlier, that it really was gaining. And now it's kind of at a stalemate because obviously $89, $90+ oil is going to be inflationary. But we've also heard things that, like the demand for employees has really waned. There was quiet quitting and now there's quiet firing, going on. So there's some things to support a stall in interest rate increases. But they're still keeping the Fed is still keeping it open to possibly more interest rate increases. So
yep.
The other thing we've heard is that automotive is a little slow because financing a car right now is 7-8%. Housing, I deal with a lot of contractors and things like that. They're starting to in the middle and lower end stuff is starting to dry up. The high end is doing well because the rich are getting richer, but
yep.
But the low and middle stuff is really starting to slow up here in the Northeast, but it's already been done that in the Midwest. So there is an overall impact, and we're feeling it from these interest rate hikes, and now we got costs driving up. So it's kind of it's an interesting time.
For a lot of your conversations when you were traveling, is it a lot of the same competition? You still see a lot from China and different places, or
Yeah.
you see
China train,
Yeah.
Turkey train, India.
Yeah.
Is becoming more and more upcoming for materials. So yeah, definitely same conversations we're having here, having south of the border.
Yeah. And I guess as other regions start to pick back up, whenever that is, if Europe starts to do a little better, if Asia starts to do a little bit better, that'll help improve or reduce the competition, I guess, in North America. But until that happens, like you said, North America is still the
Mecca.
where everyone's looking.
Yes, for
It's been
sure.
a long time that it's been that way,
Yeah.
and I don't know how much longer. We really need the support of the rest of the world, and we need to help them, get back into a place where they're consuming. And I think it's a matter of time, but there's going to be some straws broken, here,
Yep.
In the meantime. So we're going to see some rationalization and so.
Yeah. So we don't have TLC on this episode. Obviously, we had the Datacor folks as our kind of segment for this one. But looking at freight a little bit, Rob mentioned oil trickling upwards. We're seeing fuel freight costs and fuel surcharges trickling upwards a little bit. I know we saw some, I think, import pricing going up a little bit. I think China was starting to work a little bit upwards on freight prices, right, on certain things.
Yeah, the ocean freight prices from China have been up. I think they've kind of flattened out a little bit, but they did pop a little bit. Yeah, I guess they're blaming Christmas season upcoming.
True, we're getting
there's
there.
always something, right? But yeah, it seems like it's kind of flattened out.
Isn't there a holiday
being.
coming up too? Isn't there like a October shutdown?
Yeah, what is
Something
this? Is
like
it
that?
like the Dragon? Not the Dragon Boat Festival. It's
That already happened. I don't know.
yeah, there is a holiday
It's
coming
like a
up.
Labor Day type of thing.
They love their holidays.
That's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Labor Day, Chinese Labor Day.
Yeah. It's a Labor, and I don't know if it's a full week, but
Usually they take a full week.
do
They'll
they?
say,
Yeah.
I feel like every
Yeah.
holiday there's like 12 days. We'll be
Well,
closed.
there's preparation for the holiday, so it starts beforehand, and then ramp up after the holiday. So
Yeah.
But all the Europeans are coming back to work now. So
True.
it's September. So we'll see them back at work, and we'll see them in Vienna in a couple weeks.
It's amazing all the EPCA inquiries we're all of a sudden getting.
I was going to say, yes.
September 1st comes around. It's like, wow. Hello.
All of a sudden, everyone's back to work.
Yeah.
They're, all, excited about it.
Yeah.
And, all the schedules are, all the tentatives are all firmed up. So,
Yeah. So I think that's kind of what we're keeping an eye on. Freight probably trickling back upwards, maybe slowly to end the year, both truck freight and ocean freight. Just something to keep an eye on. I don't know if there's going to be any drastic increases and whatnot.
Well, fuel surcharge for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that was starting to be a null and void thing, you know, and all in rates were coming back for like a minute.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh no, wait, we got to put the fuel surcharge.
Just kidding.
Just kidding.
Any featured products? Any new things we want to talk about? Anything exciting?
Yeah. You've been talking a lot about the sample request. I mean, Javi nailed it. It's cool to see, all of the shifting and sampling and technical discussions that are going on. It's very exciting.
Yeah, we've had a lot of, I'd say the last probably 3-4 weeks, the sample requests have been off the chain. So yeah, that's been nice to see. A lot of different sourcing from different areas and opportunities that are coming up, new developments, as well as existing R&D projects that I think are finally getting taken off the back burner. Now that we're coming into all of the R&D folks that are starting to really get back into doing their job. So it's nice to see, especially this time of year, where I think, like we discussed earlier, how a lot of destocking coming into December, but a lot of testing development. So I think it's going to be a robust, Q1, Q2, as long as the testing and trials are successful.
Yeah, I mean, rather than focus on a few products and letting our competition know what we're up to, let's just say we've got a broad portfolio of, different products, and we've got to focus on sustainable products and green products and all these different things that we can bring solutions to the customers, in those parentheses, very well. And more and more products are coming to light. And we've got a very technical sales team that is very interested in all this, and they're bringing these products to market. So, whether it's an outage like the Dow fire and shifting and getting a means for people, or looking at sustainable and green products and future products that could be coming in, to their product line, we're there and doing that right now.
Yeah, it feels like we're getting a mix of inquiries from existing customers that say, "Hey, do you guys do this?" or "We're looking at that," and then stuff that comes in, people calling in or through the website or things like that for all sorts of stuff that we can try to chase down as well.
I mean,
So
we're
cool to
here,
see.
we're available. You could email any one of us and ask us a question about what's going on, WhatsApp,
Yep.
email, whatever. You could find us, man, and that's what we want to remain as a company. My door's always open, my phone's always ready to take a call. I'm ready to talk. There's no levels here in this company. There's no barriers to communication. We're ready to talk, and that's where we see the innovation really popping is in these discussions. And the future of the company is still might not be our product mix today. We've adapted over 35 years with different product mixes, and we're going to have to continue to adapt. And we never want to block communication, because we need to know what's in demand out there so we can bring that to the market.
We're going to keep seeding the market with new products.
That's right.
Exactly.
And then we're going to water it, and it's going to grow.
We're going to let AJ run with this.
Fertilize
this
it.
metaphor. I can see the wheels turning already. AJ's all over this metaphor.
New product campaign.
Yeah.
It's going to be taglines. Fantastic.
Yeah, I like it. We talked a little bit about oil, but looking at energies and some of the derivatives for September, a lot of stuff's pretty flat. Oil's been up $5-6. U.S. gas at least is flat to maybe slightly down. Stock market's kind of been mixed. The U.S. dollar continues to strengthen a little bit versus the euro. So nothing super exciting, but everything's been. It seems like price has been flat to down for the most part, but there's some upward pressure for October and November and the end of the year, I think, based on production costs.
Yeah, I would watch the propylene. I would watch, benzene. Obviously, all the derivatives of oil are moving up, being impacted right now by 8-10% increase in oil prices and them holding. I remember just a month ago, everybody was like, "Oh, well, there's $80, threshold that it won't go past. Well, now it's 89, so
well, even
costs are there.
ammonia's up like $90. It settled up $90 for September. So it's, these things are, I don't know if it's flat to down anymore. I think people are talking flat to down, but it's like the derivatives are showing
Starting to move up.
mostly upward momentum, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I have to agree with AJ. Not flat to down anymore. I haven't seen that. It's been, and we expect some price increases for October, November on a lot of our products. So, and we've seen some, I would say August is the first time in a year I've seen pre-buying.
Yeah.
So we did see a good bit of pre-buying in August. People knew that there was going to be, price increases on some of our products and started to bulk up. And then I got a report yesterday that there was a few customers that were sending orders in to get things before October hit. So, there's people that are doing well and busy and they're making sure they're keeping their costs where they're at in anticipation of higher costs by the end of the year.
It's been interesting starting to have some of those conversations where we haven't really had to pass any increases along for the better part of a year. What do you mean prices are going up? Like it's people aren't used to it.
On the other hand, I will say our suppliers are starting to panic because their costs are way up, especially European.
Yep.
Remember, we had a very, very warm winter last year, and energies weren't really much of a factor in Europe as anticipated. Well, we don't know what's going on right now. There's tremendous flooding in Libya, which is a storm that went through the Mediterranean, and there was a lot of rain and whatnot in throughout Europe, and so we can't really depend on on weather to be as it's been historically. So we could have a really cold winter. Matter of fact, the Farmer's Almanac is calling for, you'll be happy, Nicole, a cold winter.
Colder the better.
Yep.
So there's some factors out there that could really have an influence on energies, and right now Europe is in a tough shape when it comes to that, and better than last year though.
Well, wrapping things up, looking at travel and trade shows, we had a section in here talking about, relationships and upcoming travel and things like that. And I think it kind of mirrors what Javi was saying in the beginning about getting out, travel, and seeing people. I think people appreciate it. People want to see people. And on the other hand, you got plenty of companies that you see that are very much, cutting back on travel and reducing either the level of, where you can fly or how far you can fly and things like that. And, no more important time than ever to go out and see people, which I think ties in nicely with the time of year and getting back to trade shows and travel. And I know we got a few shows coming up. I know obviously Javi's just traveling. I know you were talking about traveling at the end of the month, going back to see people. And there's a couple, I think, good shows that we look forward to every year that are coming up in the next couple months between the NACD show, and then we're leaving next week for EPCA, which will be
I
really
don't
good.
think this crew ever really slowed down
Yeah.
when it comes to travel. And but yeah, I mean, it's, really looking forward to Vienna, EPCA, seeing everybody and, spending some time there because it's really important to get together, not via Zoom and Teams. It's more important to get together and connect as humans. So really looking forward to that. And we're encouraging travel. We're not cutting back. That's for sure.
Yeah, it would be yourself and Steve, who's been there a bunch of times, then me and Corey, who have never been there.
Right. That's right.
We had a mix.
The newbies.
We're gonna miss Javier though.
Yeah.
We're gonna miss Ray. We're gonna miss Javier. Two characters that normally come to Europe, but they're too cool now.
Yeah.
No, they're too busy doing what they got to do. Actually, Ray's getting a partial knee replacement, and Javi's been focusing more on trade, Latin America, Asia, things like that. So we're all doing the right things, but we got a great team. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so we're obviously finalizing meetings for the EPCA, which is exciting, and then probably get into some of the other shows on the next episode. I think October, November starting to look busy. I know you're starting to talk about Apple, I'm sure, with was that early November?
Yes.
That'll come up sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I'll have two characters with me as well, AJ and Corey.
What a crew.
That's going to be quite the...
Brazil's a very dangerous place, but when those three show up, it's going to get much more dangerous.
Yeah.
So if you introduce AJ as your boss, how are you going to introduce Corey in Spanish?
I don't know. I mean, AJ's my boss, but I don't know. AJ,
The entertain. How do you say the entertainer?
an entertainer, yeah.
Corey's the entertainer?
Entertainer, yeah.
Oh, man.
The Joker or the... he needs a good Spanish nickname.
I'll come up with one.
like, something.
I have time until November, so I have time.
That's your homework for the next episode.
Yes,
We
yes.
need a nickname for Corey Mullins.
Let me write that down.
Yeah, put
On
that
the to-do list.
Put that on the to-do list.
Javi, I
He really
noticed
wrote
that.
Corey nicknames.
Yeah. Javi, what happened to the yellow notepad? Did we run out?
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I just pull up this
Okay.
white one.
I like the white. It's clean.
was gonna
Legal
say.
pad. Legal pad.
Yeah.
Always on a legal pad.
Oh man.
Well, that I think that wraps things up. I mean, we are exciting to say we're sneaking up on episode 100, which is cool. We're starting to think about some things and put some plans in place for that.
Celebration, yeah.
Speaking of our friend Corey Mullins, we just had him on as a he had his own episode, just the Corey Mullins episode, which was
My Instagram feed was jammed up with Mullins for like a month, man.
Corey forwarded me every single clip and was like, "Man, I look so bad on this." I'm like, "No, you're like, dude, it was great.
He was great. He
He's
was
a great person.
It was a lot of Corey Mullins. I'm not
It
gonna lie.
was a lot of Mullins.
Corey
you know.
Mullins.
Thank you, Kettle Bottom, for putting my feed in as Corey Mullins. But it was good to see him there.
The algorithm is working.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But no, that was good. It was a good conversation talking about, we were talking about some of the derivatives, methanol, butanol, and whatnot. So good overview on those. And then we'll have him in the September email version, if you get that, as our TCC personality for September. We had Ray as the first one, and Corey will be the September one. Maybe we'll launch his nickname alongside that.
Yeah,
some
we
of those
can.
clips. At some point, we'll update from Corey Mullins to L, whatever you decide his nickname's going to be.
Okay.
L something.
Yeah. Or La, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It'll probably be La.
knowing you. Well, I think that wraps things up. Any final thoughts, Javi? Any final words of wisdom for September, October?
Just keep calling on people. Keep yourself out there in front of people. Best you can do.
I like it. AJP.
Keep seeding the market.
I knew it. That's gonna stick. I like that one.
It is.
I like that one.
It is.
Coco.
Just keep connecting, keep everything, communication strong, and we're here for you.
Yeah. Open signs on the front door. Call us. Let's work together.
I like it. Well, as always, we appreciate you listening. Appreciate your guys' time this morning. It was a good episode. Excited for what's to come in the fall and really getting back out there, some of these trade shows and following along what's going to happen in the market. So we appreciate it. Appreciate you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Absolutely. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Benny.
The material contained on this podcast is provided by the chemical company solely for informational purposes. The information is not guaranteed to be correct, complete, or up to date. The information in the podcast is intended solely as a general education aid. TCC is providing this podcast as a public service, but it is neither a legal interpretation nor a statement of TCC policy. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by TCC. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. Views and opinions expressed by TCC employees are those of the employees and do not necessarily reflect the view of TCC or any of its officials. All statements, comments, and opinions presented are made in the context of robust dialogue and freedom of expression. TCC assumes no responsibility for any consequence relating directly or indirectly to any action or inaction taken based on the information in this podcast. While TCC strives to keep the information in the podcast accurate, complete, and up to date, we cannot guarantee and will not be responsible for any damage or loss related to the accuracy, completeness, or timeliness of the information. TCC assumes no liability for any errors or omissions in the content of this podcast. The information contained on the podcast is provided entirely on an as-is basis with no guarantees of completeness, accuracy, usefulness, or timeliness. Thank you for streaming the View from Jamestown podcast edition.
Like and subscribe for more.